We have great building update news, and the irony is not lost on me that it is a day after I put out my video about misinformation about the great building update. It looks like it might be a little while until we see the changes to the update reach beta, and even longer until the update reaches live servers. In fact, the phrase they use is at least a few months. Whether you liked the update as is or not, this means that there is probably going to be a good amount of work done on it to make it more polished, which is probably a good thing. Let's run through the 5 questions they have in this FAQ and talk about them. The first question is about the increased forge point costs, which, as you know, were quite an extreme step up from what they were previously, in some cases 40 times as much. Inno says that these increased costs were based on the estimated amount of power creep that they expect over the coming years of the game, and that these costs would be more achievable over time. This I completely agree with. I mentioned this in my previous Great Building Update coverage, but for great buildings to be good long-term goals, they have to be extremely expensive. Those costs have to be built for the future, not for today. Unfortunately, the next paragraph feels like Inno contradicting themselves, saying that they are basically planning to greatly reduce the costs of the great buildings. What this means for the players is another Guild Expeditions Level 5 or Guild Expedition Trials type mistake. In both of those cases, we saw something that Inno planned to be difficult to allow for a more long-term goal. Unfortunately, due to massive negative player feedback around them being too difficult, they were made much easier, and what should have been a goal was instead easily achievable. I worry that Inno will make the same mistake here, but only time will tell. I hope they stay the course on what they originally planned. The second question is about goods costs being added for leveling and refinement of blueprints. Inno's stance is basically that they know this means we will need an easier way to get lower age goods, but that they want this to be something that they build out over time with new mechanics and rewards and other features. This part I really don't like, as prior to the anniversary event, the only way to get 1-down kits or reversion kits was by spending large amounts of diamonds or buying the event passes. We have started to get a small amount of them available for free, but it feels like the Great Building Update is providing a much larger incentive for these items and more value placed on the paid event passes. That said, I do welcome new mechanics that can let us get earlier age goods more easily, so I am looking forward to seeing what those are, and hopefully they come out relatively soon so that getting the goods we need isn't really paywalled. Question 3 asks about whether buildings will receive unique bonuses in the update. The answer seems to be that they are testing ideas for new great building effects, but it takes a while and they don't know if any will make it into the update. The good news is that per their own timeline, they have at least a few months before they expect the changes to release, so hopefully we can see some more of those unique bonuses beyond just army boosts. To me, part of what is required to justify the increased cost is enough value from the boosts that those great buildings provide. In a game where things like army boosts and resource productions scale rapidly with events in the quantum incursions, unique boosts or productions for great buildings make them stand out as worthwhile investments. There's a reason that buildings like the Ark, Blue Galaxy, Arctic Orangery, and Seed Vault have stood the test of time. They all do things that buildings from events or features cannot replicate. Now, Inno's answer to question 3 does also potentially answer the question of whether the current silver or gold tier bonuses that great buildings have on beta may change. Specifically, I would look at the line saying that they are considering different scenarios for the redesign, and I would not be surprised if the boosts may change. In many cases, I think realistically they should change if they want to keep great buildings relevant. The fourth question relates to whether the migration system will be the same, and the short answer is no, it will be different, but that they do want to minimize the loss of resources and invested effort. This is great, since hopefully they can avoid established players getting millions of free forge points, but it seems that there is no concrete plan yet to what exactly the new migration system will be. The final question is whether all great buildings will be getting new bonuses and tiers. Inno is answering this with a yes, but there is a caveat. With the first stage of the update, we will not be getting every great building updated, but rather future updates, features, or so on would bring the additional tiers and boosts and such for those unupdated buildings. That brings us to what all of this means for you. Well, the short version is that you should not be expecting the update to reach live servers for several months. Remember, it will be a few months before the revised update reaches beta, after which they'll have to test it, see feedback, maybe change some more things, and get everything finished before it can make its way to live servers. As such, if you have leveled some buildings early in preparation for the update, you will have to choose whether to keep them or delete them. With things like this, it's important to remember that stuff on the beta server is not final, and so you don't necessarily want to play assuming it is. Anyways, that's all for this one. Join my Discord server if you want to discuss your plans for your great buildings. Link is in the description. Long live the Seed Vault, and as always, I'll see you all next time.